Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new series on my YouTube channel. Today, we'll be interviewing an artist that I know, and hopefully, I'll be able to interview more. I'm really glad he agreed to be the first one, and I really look forward to seeing his career launch. I mean, I've listened to his music, and it's definitely going. Without further ado, Andy, who are you, and what are your ads and stuff? I can put them right here.
Well, I'm Andy. Andy Rosales of Memorial Television. My music Instagram is at Memorial Television, TX for Texas. That's my music one. And then my personal one is at Andy Rosales, but the O in the Rosales is an X.
So, why did you start making music?
Early on in high school or eighth grade, around that time, I felt sort of a empty creative void inside me. I had listened to all the music that I liked at the time, and I just thought about how that music made me feel, and it made me feel like I wanted to do something like that. It gave me the inspiration. It gave me the influence to the drive to want to do it myself.
And who would you say your biggest inspiration is?
Musically, I think that there's probably 5 bands or artists that really are, I think, the building blocks. They're at like the core of it all. I think that it's the 1975, Vampire Weekend, Beach House, U2, and Rush. Those are the 5 for me. And I think that those are the musical inspirations. And I think just overall, I think my parents as well, they really push me, and they really are um, supportive and motivate me ever since I started music. Not even writing, just performing from a young age, 6th grade, 5th grade, around that time, orchestra band, that sort of thing.
And then you've mentioned writing. What's your favorite song that you've written that's already out, released already?
I think that it's probably, oh man, it's because I have so many favorites from the coming one. Um, I think probably a really personal song to me is It'll Get You in the End from the Beagle album, the second one last year in the summer. That song's very personal to me, from the already released ones, at least.
Where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
5 years, I hope to be just performing maybe around the city and the region, but doing that on a regular basis. And yeah, I hope to do that and just gain popularity.
And then in 20 years, where do you see yourself as in a huge superstar or?
I wouldn't like to be huge. That's my thing. Ideally, for me, I think famous enough to be stopped for a picture occasionally, but also famous enough so I can go to the store without a problem.
Yeah, it seems like a good middle ground. What do you want people to know about you and your work? Like, what's important that people know about you as you make your music?
I think that I speak from the heart, my my heart. I think I speak from a heart, true experience. I think and hope that people that's received, and that they see themselves in my writing, and that they identify with it. I think that creates a connection for sure.
How would you describe your songwriting process? How do you get it from your heart onto the page?
I like to start music first. It's got to be that way for me. I think that it's been changing a little bit recently. I think it's been music and words at the same time recently. Historically and overall, it's always music first and then put words in there. But sometimes there's a word or phrase that sparks some inspiration for me. Then that starts the whole thing for me.
I know you also play as drummer in a band. So do you prefer being a solo artist or do you prefer being with a group?
I think that I like to express myself as a solo artist, but I find no problem in playing with other people in another group as well. So both for me.
As you mentioned earlier, you do have a new album coming out. Could you tell us more about that? What it's called, when it's coming out exactly, and where we can find you?
Yes, sir. The thing about the album is that it's coming out October 30th of this year. It's called When It's Okay to Ask. I think the themes about it is there's some themes of self-preservation, anxiety, fame, self-reflection. I think that self-reflection is one of the most therapeutic things that you can do for yourself. I think it's great. Themes of that sort, and then of course, there's been a few singles out already. That the EP from like 2 months ago. That sort of was just like a precursor to the whole thing. But I think that a lot of the themes, like I said before, anxiety is a lot. One of them uh, didn't do so well with the anxiety thing in high school, last year of high school, and for most of the first year of college, I didn't do so well. But I've learned and I've grown, and I think that there are a few songs that reflect that. But Kept Track of My Mind's one of them. The opening song, Everyone, is reflective of that as well, and also Fame, because I think a lot of people get famous for the stupidest reasons sometimes. Yeah, as a writer, I think that really bothers me. I think people who are actually genuine don't really get that paid that much attention to. But there's sometimes stupid things that are funny, but sometimes not at all.
I completely understand that one. Then, with your new album, what would you say your favorite songs on it are? Like the ones
Mhm.
you should specifically be looking out for.
I don't have a favorite because there's like a four-way tie, three-way tie. I think we all see it differently. The third song is, I can't say how much I love it just because it's my favorite. It makes me want to jump around. Gotta love jumping around to songs you like. Autumn Sun, it's been out already, one of my favorites. Chris Valerio, who does saxophone, does a great job on that. A song I had written with my boyfriend called Wishing. I like that one. That one's a highlight for me. And then the final one is the last song on the album called The Computer in the Other Room. My friends Tito and Miguel helped me out on that one at the beginning of the year. Yeah, those are my favorites, I think. Those are the key ones that make me very proud.
I'm looking forward to hearing most of them. What advice do you have someone who's going to get started into music? Like if they're just starting out, what advice do you have for them?
I'm not the most qualified. I'm not totally famous and I know everything. Or about songwriting. I don't know everything. I'm still learning and I'm excited to learn, but I think that the advice I'd give is to be ambitious. A bit ambitious about music. Just try new things, explore new musical sounds. I think that's tip number one. And then number two, I think for me, is listen to the new stuff, listen to the classics. You got to know the classics. Newly released stuff is cool too. So that's my advice.
Finally, is there any advice or wisdom you'd like to share with us before you go?
This is my advice. Wisdom time. Be nice to everyone. Vote. You know all that advice before. Be ambitious with that, and just stream the album and my music, or my music and the album when it comes out. And I'd also like to thank everyone who listens, and I like to thank uh, the fans, people who listen. I'm very very appreciative of it because that's what keeps me going. And my collaborators as well. Like I said before, my boyfriend Ivan, Chris Valerio on sax, Tito Ronver, and Miguel Rodarte doing that song with me. And then also my friends Jaden and Mara, who did photography for me earlier or late last year, actually. Yeah, follow on Insta and do your chores. That's what I'd say.
Thank you everyone for coming. If you haven't already listened to his old music, I'll have his stuff in the description below. And make sure you listen to his new album, play it on repeat over and over again. Make sure he gets rich just off of this one album. And as he said, make sure you vote. Even if you're voting red, you're voting blue, you're voting third party, just make sure you vote because that's the most important thing you could do right now. With that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions, you could ask me, you could ask him. He'll be more than happy to talk to fans. And peace.
Yes, thank you.